Oh, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my 2025 Cleveland Browns mock draft. I put my money on this. This is the best Browns mock draft on the internet right here today.
So excited!
Stay to the end. You're going to want to hear everything that I have to say. I'm going to talk about culture, departures. Look, let's get into it. I'm not going to waste no time. Shedeur Sanders is coming to the Cleveland Browns. 6'1", 212 pounds, a guy who has a massive arm. He turned around Jackson State, and then he goes over to a massive school, Colorado, and did his thing there as well too. Took his team to a bowl game. They did get smashed at the end, but they still took him to a bowl game. Okay. This guy, look, a lot of people don't like the cockiness, but if someone comes to Cleveland, they got to have a swagger and a cockiness to them, man. If any team is going to be a good fit for Shedeur, I'm going to say it's the Cleveland Browns. So I have him going there, and I just don't see though I like Cam Ward. He is my favorite quarterback in this year's draft. Cam Ward, there's no way in heck that the Tennessee Titans take and pass on him and go with a skill position. They need a quarterback, and mayonnaise man Will Levis is not it. Okay. Moving on to my next pick. Okay. And again, comment below, hit subscribe, hit dislike, but comment below. I want to hear what you guys got to say. Is Xavier Restrepo. Now, Abunga, the wide receiver from Ohio State, he was not available in this mock draft. He did go later in the first round. But Xavier Restrepo is great. He's 5'9", 209 pounds. So he is kind of a stockier guy. This guy, they just see him kind of as he's a yak machine, but they just kind of see him as a slot receiver, but he can do so much more and makes lots of plays up the middle. Likes to throw up the middle as well too. You guessed it, Shedeur Sanders. Next guy I got is going to be Emory Jones, offensive tackle. He can play on the inside as well too. You can move in the guard if that's what you choose to do. Here it says he's 3'15", 6'5", has the physical tools and natural length to succeed at the next level with the flexibility to absorb contact and keep defenders at bay. His skill set currently projects him as the best interior. His athleticism and the league's need for quality tackles makes him an intriguing developmental prospect. So again, huge prospect to take and start day one. If not, you can move him inside at guard. Moving on is, we talk about culture. This guy's a big culture guy. He's a big team first guy. He's a big playmaking guy, touchdown machine. I wouldn't be surprised if in his rookie year, if he's on the right team and the right system that really loves him a lot, Jimmy Horn could at least get 700 yards in his rookie year. I like Jimmy Horn. I am a Jimmy Horn fan. I love his story. Jimmy Horn, y'all, he balled out. He balled out, man. I like what he did in college, man. And I like what he puts on film. And also as well, he put up good stuff on his RAS score as well too. So having somebody who Shedeur is used to, so Jimmy Horn, deep threat, Xavier Restrepo, he could take and be the slot. Another person that I'm kind of thinking about, because let's look at the receiving core. They got his tight end David Njoku, Elijah Moore is there. Elijah Moore is gonna be another fun guy to take and have there. Okay, but again, I'm looking here: Cedric Tillman, Jamari Thrash, Caden Davis, somebody going to get kicked to the practice squad. That's all that I'm saying. Okay. Or just not on the team or traded. Okay. So, but yeah, I think it's good to have a core, just a pure core receiving group that takes and comes on this team. I think it would be great. The next person I want to talk about is Oluwafemi Oladejo. Okay. This guy is a maniac. You should have seen him at the Reese's Senior Bowl. He was eating up the competition, man. I love it. He has a pass rush win rate of 14.5%. He's making plays all the time. 14 tackles for loss this season, 4.5 sacks, and 57 total tackles. He's an off-ball linebacker, okay? And he is fun to take and watch, man, when he starts getting in the flow and making plays all the day. And again, he's no Myles Garrett. We all know Myles ain't going to be on the team. But I think it's a good guy to take and have in there. So maybe next year, 2026 draft, okay, you can probably get somebody off the board, the best edge rusher that is there, okay? Just a little food for thought. Next person I want to talk about is R.J. Harvey. This is the running back room right now. This is who they got. Nick Chubb, which he certainly ain't going to be there. Jerome Ford, Deontay Foreman. Shout out to Pierre Strong. Love watching him. I think it was South Dakota State, I think he played for in college. Watched him a lot. Amazing. That's a guy I want to see take and make the step on the next level, but an NFL running back nonetheless. RJ Harvey is not a gadget player. RJ Harvey is not a community. I'm a community running back. No, he is the running back. He is so good. I'm surprised it's not enough hype going on about him. Now, if you know me, you watch the show. I live in beautiful Central Florida, so I know a whole lot about RJ Harvey. They call him Mr. Orlando. He is the greatest running back in UCF history. This guy can catch. He can take and catch deep balls. He could take and run the ball over you, through you, and his speed is crazy. He's 209 pounds, 5'8", and he can actually put the team on his back. He's that freaking good. I'm a huge fan of RJ Harvey. I could do this whole episode about RJ Harvey. Huge fan. Next guy I'm going to talk about is the leader in tackles for Iowa, Nick Jackson. I had the pleasure of interviewing Nick Jackson at the Hula Bowl. If you don't know too much about my channel, I think this year I've had about 45 NFL draft prospects on this show. I was at the Tropical Bowl and I was at the Hula Bowl, where there's tons of NFL draft prospects, more so Hula Bowl. And I had the pleasure of interviewing Nick Jackson. Nick Jackson is all business, man. He puts his head down and will run right through you. He is a violent, old school 1990s, 1980s style linebacker. I like him a lot, and he's quick, and he's that hybrid linebacker that you need, who could take out your favorite tight end if necessary. He is that hit man who would do great in a team like Cleveland. Next guy that I have on here is Trikweze Bridges, cornerback. One thing I like about him, he's 6'2". Some places have him at 6'3", but 6'2" from Florida. All right, let's talk about draft lingo. Leader of men, mountain of a man. All right, some generic stuff for cornerbacks is he can mirror whatever the receiver does, but this guy actually does that. He can actually mirror whatever the receiver does. His hips are like elastic. I haven't seen a lot. I don't see too many DBs take a move like Trikweze does, man. He's a very good defensive back, and in my opinion, I would go as far as snag him in early third round. That's just me, but this is loaded. This is a loaded draft, so there'll be some people fall. I think he falls no further than the fifth round, but Trikweze is a beast, man. And when I think of the secondary for the Browns, it does not strike fear in me at all. You know, also does strike fear in me? Shiloh Sanders putting his shoulder and running right through you. Has to work on some coverage stuff, but I like him at the line. I like him at the safety position. And again, we talk about people who Shador's familiar with playing with. Okay, I know Shiloh, he's not an offensive player, but that is his brother, man. And I'm just calling it today. Coach Prime will make some calls. And I don't have a problem with it personally, because Shiloh is a baller. If Shiloh was a scrub, I'd be, yeah, all right, yeah, okay, we'll see what happens there, buddy. Nah, Shiloh can ball, man. He does have to work on his coverage a little bit, especially like in the slot, man. But man, if your guy gets tripped up, he's going to hurt you and lay that shoulder down. Force a fumble, get a pick six. He's going to make some plays, man. I would love for him, because you talk about Dawg Pound and what it means to be a part of the Dawg Pound. Well, Shiloh Sanders has that dog spirit along with his brother Shador. Okay, along with Jimmy Horn and a lot of these other people that I picked. I very strategically picked the players that I picked for this mock draft. And before I go in to talk about Carson Wentz and Eli Cox and Ahmed Hassanin, let's talk about how bad the Browns were last year. Look, overall offense, 32. Pass offense, 32. Rush offense, 25. Overall defense, 18th. Pass defense, 27th. And rush defense was 13. That means it was just all right. It was just okay. Okie dokie, Smokey. It was not that great. Okay? So that's why I have the dogs in here that I do. That's why I have the violent hitters on here that I do. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland has one of the better UDFA classes as well, too. But moving on, Carson Vincent. This is a guy. He was at the Reese Senior Bowl, HBCU player, man. 6'7", 314 with a RAS score 9.39. NFL draft. I don't know what it is, man. They things have gotten a little bit better, man, but not much. I want to see a better representation of HBCU players, and I don't mean to be, Doug's Mr. DEI. Doug is trying to be woke, because you know how people get in the internet spaces. But as someone who's covered the draft professionally as a journalist for the last 5 years, every year I'm seeing somebody fall, somebody slide who needs a chance. Not just we feel sorry for them, no, because they earn it and they're a freaking baller. They're a baller, whether on the offensive side of the ball or defensive side of the ball. Carson Vincent, man, he held his own at the Reese Senior Bowl, because that's what I look for. Okay, you went to this little school, whether you're a D2 player, HBCU, trash D1 program, whatever. What did you do when you were given that bowl game opportunity against? What'd you do against the bigger talent? What'd you do against the bowl game? You could tell me all about the underwear Olympics and what you did on your pro day. Cool, cool, cool. But what did you do against bigger talent? Carson Vincent did great against other talent. Did great. Guys, he's taken over 3,300 career snaps and is only lined up at left tackle throughout his career. So that would be a dig. Like, okay, what if Brown's him at the right tackle? I'm sure he will adapt. I like Carson Vincent, man. He better not be no freaking UDFA. I would snag him in round 5, 6, or 7. Totally worth it. Then we got Eli Cox. Now, Eli Cox was probably the only good. I don't mean to dig at Kentucky, man. I got mad love for the Wildcats. Shout out to their program. I had exclusive interview rights just about over any player, man. I interviewed Barry and Brown, all-time kick returner in the SEC. I interviewed Jamari Macklin. So there's some dogs in Kentucky, man. But that O-line was terrible. Eli Cox was actually a pretty good offensive center, man. He did really freaking good. The problem is that the tackles, and I think it was the right or left guard, just did not do their thing, man. But this guy is really good. He can play both center and guard. He is known for being that. And throughout his college career, he's given up 30 pressures and 4 sacks in the past 2 seasons. So he has shown the ability to win in space and make, second level blocks. He does play with a low pad level and has very good leverage. It says here, Cox is a very smart offensive lineman who can recognize stunts, twists. But it does say here he does take a struggle against more physical pass rushers. So this is a guy you want to bring in around 6, round 7. He is more a depth sign. I'm not expecting him to really start day 1. But again, I've seen him hold up against some really good competition. So last year when they played Georgia, when they played Ole Miss, some of these bigger schools, he did pretty dang good, man. So I like him a lot, man. I want to see what he can do overall. Then my favorite, oh man, this guy's such a cool story. Just started playing football in 2019. He's from Egypt. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Football's getting international. Ahmed Hassanin, and please forgive me in advance if I don't ever like butchering people's names, or hopefully I don't come off disrespectful. This dude's dope, man. I love his story. He ended up giving his life to Jesus while at Boise State. Loves his coach, big team guy. So I've seen him talk in interviews. That's the first time I heard about him. Then you see him on the field. Oh my gosh. This guy got 22 sacks in the last 2 seasons. I wouldn't call him super raw, but he's a good player, man. He's a very quick learner, man. His RAS score wasn't the best. It was 6.39. So again, not the best. What's interesting about him, he went from being a CrossFit champion in Cairo to playing football in 2019. Rapidly developed into a formidable pass rusher. In 2023, 12 and a half sacks, earned him first team All Mountain West honors, followed up with 9.5 sacks this past season. Again, that's still really, really, really great numbers, man. Again, sometimes he has to work on his technique a little bit. I think that will come in time. That's why you want to get a guy like this in round 6, round 7, work on him. And dude, to turn it around like that, what? That is freaking crazy. So, anywho, comment below on this mock draft. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Look, the Browns with Jameis Winston, all his fun pregame chats, they weren't able to pull it off, man. They were rough. Hence, they have the 2nd pick in this year's first round of the NFL draft. However, if you bring in a guy like Shedeur, I know a lot of people hate him. That's fine. He may not get used to him, but look, we all know cocky players and very confident, sometimes overly confident players who are running backs, who are kickers, who are safeties, linebackers, offensive tackles, and so forth. Okay. He is just a very confident quarterback. But one thing, he is tough, man. He's not some rich kid from a gated community who sucks at playing football. He's only playing football because his daddy played football. This guy balled out while he was at college. Okay, I hated the game against BYU. Other than that, I loved his college career, man. He showed growth. He can put a team on his back and win when it is important. Okay, whoever takes a job in Cleveland is like who. It's like being president of the United States. There's a lot of cleaning up to do. Okay, that's a hard job. Same thing with the Cleveland Browns, man. And you're going to a city where there's probably not that, no disrespect, local Clevelanders, probably not a whole lot to do compared to if you got drafted in a city like LA or a city, like going to DC or Miami or Dallas. You're going to Cleveland, right? The weather's rough. People are super friendly. It's that kind of homey feeling. You got to want to be there. Cleveland needs to create a new culture. They need to create a new culture, man, similar to what the Green Bay Packers done. So I ain't not much really to be doing over in Cleveland. Well, there really ain't much to do over in Green Bay than to drink and eat cheese. You know, if you like the outdoors, there's that too. So, anywho, comment below, hit that subscribe button if you want to donate as well. That's on the description of this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. I hope y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. God bless you all. Jesus loves you. And I will see y'all next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. Thank you for watching another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith, where we have exclusive NFL content and exclusive NFL interviews. Be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. See you on the next one.